In today's video, I am going to be breaking down a very good basketball player, David, who is one of the top players in Canada right now for his age. He's 13 years old. He does some things that are very elite. So if you are roughly around his age, check out some of the things that he does here, some of the tips I'm going to give you that he does so that you can incorporate this into your game as well. So let's get down, let's check him out. Okay, so right here in this first clip, we are going to see David right there. Watch what he does in the low post so that he doesn't get a foul. What he does is he keeps his hands straight up. I can't stress this enough. So many young basketball players will have a player who goes into this position right here, where they're using their body to protect that ball and they're going up with the shot. A lot of defenders, especially younger ones who are around that 13-year-old range, will try and block this shot. It's unblockable. You're going to get the foul. Keep your hands straight up. That is all you need to do. Just make the shot a tough shot. That way you don't get a foul, because guess what? He's probably going to miss anyways because you made it a tough shot. So really quickly, when you're full court pressing, you don't want the ball to go up middle. So you want to really try and force these guys towards the sideline. Every full court press will do this. I'm not giving away any team secrets. Here he's overplaying that right side of that player so that he forces that man to go up sideline. Now, while you may be saying, okay, well, he's crossing his feet, he's playing terrible defense. Well, guess what? He's not, because while he's running alongside that player, he's keeping his shoulders pretty well square to that man, so that when that man does stop, David is able to stop very quickly as well. Now, while this player has created that distance between himself and David was able to stop long enough so that he can stay with that man, which then eventually turned into a turnover after they passed that ball away. And we can see that happen right here after David took middle. No middle, obviously want to try and force sideline, and that man passed it off, in which case turned into a turnover, and which then led to a basket for David right here. Always want to transition from defense to offense as fast as you can. Here again, he's forcing no middle. He's trying to force that sideline, and now once he gets that ball to that sideline, they go for that trap. That man is going to be dead in a second, but he tried to pass over top of a 6'6" guy, didn't work. Now watch what David does after we trap that sideline, after we get that turnover. As soon as we get it, David is looking to get down court as fast as possible. He doesn't just stand there in one spot. This is a mistake that a lot of younger players make when they get that turnover. They'll just sit here and say, oh, you can take it the rest of the way. It doesn't work like that. You need to transition quickly. Now, this ball gets passed to the sideline while they were pressing, and watch what David does right here. What does David do? He's got his hands straight up, he's got his feet wide, so that now this player cannot pass over top. That pass is taken away. He can pass here, but even then, these hands can drop pretty quickly. So he is now taken away all of the passing angles, or at least most of them. He is now forcing this man towards that sideline. And by having his feet wide, he is in position to start shuffling right away. Now, this man, after that, he turns and goes down court. He steps out of bounds right there, as we can see. So, great defense, forced that turnover. Now, this is something that I really like about David's defense, and you can do this as well. David gets his body into the man right here. He gets his chest right into that man who's dribbling to try and force him away from middle, while he has his lead hand up. The reason why this is important is because now if this man tries to make that pass in front of David is going to most likely intercept or tip that pass. Interceptions and tips are extremely important, and that is what will allow you to stay on the court even longer. Now, this man is getting forced towards sideline. Anytime there's a dribble handoff towards sideline, remember, defenses do not want the ball to go up middle. Whether you are playing a man-to-man, whether you are playing a zone defense, it doesn't matter. You do not want the ball in the middle. You want the ball along the sideline so you can force traps, because if you can force guys towards the sideline, even if you are in single coverage man-to-man, the reason why you want to do that is because this can act as a secondary defender on you. because he can only go so far towards this side. So watch what David does. After this dribble handoff, he cuts off that path. This player is unable to go past or through David, which means that he has to go back towards the sideline. This is fantastic defense. And if ran properly, there is a type of man-to-man defense that you can run where you can trap this and everybody zones up into a triangle and two. We don't run that, but that is a fantastic defensive option in man-to-man that other teams can run. Now, because David was overly denying that middle, even with this man coming up to set this screen, there's no way that you're going to be able to use that screen, which means that you need to go sideline, and that is where this player took that ball. He runs into a secondary defender, and the play is dead. So by cutting off middle the entire time on your defensive time out on the court, you are going to create a lot of turnovers for that other team. Now, in this clip, David tries to intercept that pass. He misses the interception. It was just a bit too high, but this is why I always say to all of my players, this is the best spot to try to intercept the pass, because even if you get past and you miss the ball, it's now 5-on-4 and everyone denies middle, which means that now that player is going to be at a disadvantage because now, as we can see here, David is behind his man. Now, you may be saying, well, that's a disadvantage for David. Well, if you are a good enough defender, that's actually a massive advantage. We see this with certain players in the NBA who like to play from behind the ball. And that's exactly what we do right here. This man goes for a shot fake. There was nobody around. He should have really actually taken that shot, but it's a terrible shot. His feet are on the line, and he wasn't balanced enough. So he picks up that ball, and because he kept that ball at his waist, David was able to then tip that ball away. Right here, we see that right there. In FIBA rules, hands are part of the ball, so even if he did hit the hand, it wouldn't have counted as a foul, but in the actual replay, you can hear the ball get slapped. And then because it's on its way towards his teammate, watch how fast David transitioned from defense to offense. I'm going to take this out of slow motion. I'm going to play it. He tips the ball, and as soon as he sees it go towards his teammate, he sprints down court. He doesn't even take a dribble. This was a fantastic pass by his teammate. Yes, this is a foul, but it was not called. But watch this pass. The pass goes way ahead of David. This is because dribbling the ball is too slow. If you are looking to dribble the ball in a fast break, you are not going fast. You're not going to be able to go fast enough. This guy is going to come up behind you, block you, or potentially hit you even harder than he hits David here. So now, going in slow motion, David gathers the ball on his right, goes up on his left, and then he gets hit in the air, makes that shot, no foul call, but because he was able to just take that one step, catch, and go up, this was a much faster option than if he had to take 2 or 3 dribbles from back here. So lead passes are extremely important. So good job to Jaden in this clip. Now, anytime a player misses a pass, as we see right here, you need to go all out, sprint to get that ball. What did David do right here that, in my opinion, is very good? He tipped the ball forward. So many players will go and try and just pick up that ball and go. Well, guess what? By tipping that ball forward right here, he is now able to create the separation needed from that man, because that man is just looking to go and grab that ball. By you tipping it forward, he is going to go from his heels to then needing to run. Trying to accelerate off of your heel start is extremely difficult. David was able to create that separation. He only has to take a couple of dribbles, and then he's able to go in for that layup that wouldn't have been possible if he picked up that ball. By tipping that ball, he was able to get himself that easy layup. Something else that I really like is the unselfishness right here. So what I mean by that is when a player tips a pass, for example, right here, they'll go back up and they'll try to grab it to keep it with them so that they can go down court. But instead, David tips it to his teammate Jaden, who is then able to go down court himself. You can do this. Now, this is an offensive rebound, but you can do this with rebounds as well. You can tip it to yourself so that you can get that rebound out 15 feet away from the basket. The reason why this is useful, even though this is an offensive rebound, the reason why this is useful is because if you're a guard like David is, and he's going up against guys who are maybe 6'5", 6'6", while this team only had one guy that height, we have multiple. For example, 99 is 6'6". So by simply just tipping that ball towards or away from the basket towards himself, that allows him to get that rebound. Transitioning from defense to offense is also very important. As soon as you see that your team gets that steal, even though we haven't got that ball yet, David is already at a full-out sprint down court. This allows him to be able to get that pass in transition, take one dribble, and then he's able to go up for that layup. He gets hit, no foul yet again. And no, this is not a travel. We are allowed 2 steps up here in Canada. He gathers in the air, 1, 2, and then he's able to go up for that layup. In FIBA, we are allowed 2 steps. Now, watch the time that's left on this clock. Here, what we see is David go for that steal. He just tips it. He tips it enough so that he's able to grab it. And then he's able to kick it out to that perimeter player. 10 seconds left on the clock. It's now back to being our ball, and we are up by 3 points. We ended up winning this game. So our defense, including Jaden, Caden, Caleb especially, and David, and all of the other players in this game, we won because of their defense. These are the tips that David did in this game, and that you can do as well to be able to get your team more wins. Hit the like button and subscribe if these tips have helped you become a better defender.